Hello everyone, how are you? So today we're going to discuss a very difficult topic. I know, very triggering topic for a lot of you, for myself as well, and it's circumcision, kabbalah, and black magic. So I will be going in depth in this video about this mainly Jewish ritual and explain its origins, meanings, and the true meaning of the sacrificial blood magic that it is. Okay. Try to have an open mind, and if something is triggering you, then it's really something to look at, because I feel like whether you're Jewish or not, whether you have had circumcision or not, we're all like, a lot of us are triggered by this because we care, because this is something that is affecting our collective consciousness, and it has been affecting our collective consciousness for generations. And even if you don't consciously understand it, you feel it. So this is why we really must have this conversation and understand. And we are controlled by black magic. I've said this for years, whether we know it or not. So it is our job and responsibility to know what magic really is, so that we're stop being controlled by it and manipulated by it. Okay? And especially that our children will stop suffering because of it. All right. So in Kabbalah, it is believed that by this ritual of circumcision, known in Hebrew as Brit Milah, okay, this is the word in Hebrew, Brit Milah, it helps a man cut all connection to his ego and have a more direct connection to God, which is the good, the divine source. Therefore, the skin around the head of the penis most boys are born with is considered to be the place where negative forces are accumulated in. That's the belief, okay? I'm just trying to explain to you the origins and the beliefs around it. Now, what about women? It is said that a woman is naturally mehula, which means she's naturally circumcised. It means that women don't need to go through the pain to have the union with God, that they are born naturally with his qualities and abilities. Now, on a spiritual level, there is truth to it. This is actually true. Women are naturally more connected to source itself, because we have, but it's, again, got distorted. It is because we have the womb, and God, source, is really the mother. It is that eternal womb, that big bang that we all came from. That is the true source. It is more feminine in nature. And so women are actually more connected to source through our wombs. Again, this is another reason for this agenda to destroy the womb and the natural womb and the word woman and women themselves, which we're not going to get into that right now. So again, on a spiritual level, there is truth to this symbolism, but the actual physical act of cutting a body part for the male is blood magic. It is blood sacrificial magic. Now, why do people have Brit Milah, circumcision? And why on the 8th day? Because the rule is that you have to do it on the 8th day of the child's life. So I'm going to give you a few explanations and for the beliefs, right, that most Jewish people have. It is a sign for the faith that they have. So the Brit Milah leaves a mark physically on the flesh that you believe in God, that you're connected to God. Another reason is that it keeps you a slave. They literally, this is literally the thing. It keeps you a slave to God, which is, in the old days, the slave owners used to create marks, physical marks on the skins of their slaves to make sure that they'll never escape, right? So the Brit Milah, the circumcision, is a reminder that, that you are a slave to God, which really, the Hebrew God is actually multiple gods. People don't actually know that. They literally say that word, God, Elohim, every word of their life, and they don't hear that it's actually plural. It's multiple gods. And mostly demonic entities. Again, I'm trying not to get into everything in one video, but I do talk about it a lot in other videos. So another reason for it is the circumcision makes the Jewish people more unique, and it separates them from the other nations of the world, which keeps them, the chosen ones. It's like a different mark in their body that keeps them different than others. So again, it doesn't necessarily make sense. I'm just explaining to you the beliefs that most people have around circumcision. Okay. And most Jewish people don't even have these beliefs. They don't even know. They just do it because it's done, because that's what you do, because that's the mitzvah, right? So most people are like not aware of it at all. Even the rabbis, even the people that are doing the circumcision, they're not even aware of the actual depth of what they're doing. Okay. So why is this done on the penis itself? So one reason is to symbolize the connection with Abraham, right? Because he's the first guy who, gave his child as a sacrifice to God and blah, blah, blah. Another reason is to weaken the sexual desire and to help the man become stronger than his lust, than his physical lust, which we all know is not really helpful. If you ever met any Jewish men or, I've grew up in Israel, so I can tell you that it doesn't really help with their lust and their their physical their physical needs. Okay. So another reason, again, this is a reason. This is a reason to logicalize this act, right? It's basically, people really believe that it's a must, like you have to do this to your child, and this is why we are privileged to even continue living until today, right? So it's really deep brainwashing for generations and generations and generations. And why on the 8th day? Why they believe they have to do it on the 8th day of the child's life? First of all, it's to give the child enough time to gain strength for this, surgical procedure, which is horrible, done with no anesthesia. Also, they believe that the child has to experience one Shabbat, one Sabbath before the Brit Milah, before circumcision. And also it has to do with the number 7 and 8, which is number 7 represents nature, 7 days of the week, 7 spheres, and then the number 8 represents one above nature, where the magical happens, right? Like the unnatural happens. And so the circumcision really connects the baby with the God in this not unnatural, but how do you say it in English? Above natural, right? Like it's endless. It's a spiritual kind of thing. So that's the number 8 kind of symbolizes. Now, in the ritual of Brit, okay, Brit, again, this is the name in Hebrew for circumcision, Brit Milah, is one of the mitzvahs in the Jewish tradition. There are a lot of mitzvahs. Most of them are for men. Women are actually, they don't have to do the mitzvahs because, again, they're naturally connected to source, which is truth. So if you look at any religion, there is a lot of truth to them. So they're snippets of truth, but they're like surrounded by crap and lies and manipulation and distortion. So this is the problem. Many people think that this word means something holy or sacred. I'm talking about the word mitzvah now. That's something we do for God. But a mitzvah actually comes from the word tzivui, which means to obey, to blindly obey. Religious people, of course, have a very powerful faith in this ritual, not realizing that they're doing black magic, which is blood magic with a baby, okay, with their baby. And this is how dangerous obeying to a force is, blindly obeying without questioning anything. There are 3 stages to this ritual, okay? Let's talk about the ritual itself now. There are 3 stages that if you don't have these 3 stages in the ritual, it's like void. It doesn't count, okay? And the people, the mohalim, the people that are doing they're certified to do the circumcision, they know this. So they have to follow the rules of the ritual. This is a magic ritual you have to understand. This is a magic ritual, and it is so ironic that religion has demonized magic while being magic all the time, just to control the consciousness of people. and to manipulate them. Okay, so the 3 stages of the ritual. Mila, kriya, metzitza. These are words in Hebrew, and I will explain them, okay? All in order, they have to be in this order. Mila, kriya, metzitza. To reveal the atara. Atara is the head of the penis. To uncover it, okay? So all of these stages have to happen in order to uncover the head of the penis. First, the skin of the orla, the skin of the head of the penis have to be cut off, okay? So they pull the skin, they cut it off. It's pretty horrific. If you've ever seen a brit milah, it's horrific. And just to hear the baby screaming and, I can't even. Okay. Then, this is the number 1, right? Orla. So you have the milah, which is the cutting off the piece of the skin. Second part is kriya, which means to rip. So the second part, it's literally that. They separate the skin that remains in half. They literally tear the skin apart. And the third thing is metzitza. Now, okay, metzitza in Hebrew. Metzitza in Hebrew means literally sucking. This is the word, by the way, that we use for blowjob. You know, we use that word to give a blowjob to someone, metzitza. It means to suck. This is crazy. So here, the rabbi, the mohel that actually does the ceremony, the ritual. The third step that he has to do, otherwise, remember, this magic ritual is void. He has to suck a drop of blood from the penis itself, from the penis that he just cut and ripped. All right? According to Kabbalah and the laws of this ritual, if you don't do all 3 things, cutting the orla, tearing, and metzitza, sucking it, it is not considered to be a brit. The ritual is not done properly, and the magic ritual is just not done properly. Kabbalah explains that before the sin of the first man, he did not have this piece of skin on the head of the penis, and therefore cutting it off will again connect the man to spirit and to God, to his purity. The Zohar says that all the negative forces are accumulated in that piece of skin. Where they came up with that, I don't know, like the stories that they come up with. It also explains that in the first 7 days of the baby's life, the soul integrates in the body. And that is why on the 8th day, you can connect the soul again to the spiritual flow by cutting the orla. Now, this has, again, a snippet of truth to it, because it is true. Like there is some truth to it, that it takes those days for the soul to be fully integrated within the body, because the baby is still kind of attached and connected to the spirit realm through the mother's womb. It takes a moment to like ground yourself and like, oh, I'm in a physical body, right? For the soul. So there is a snippet of truth to this, but it's a little distorted, a lot actually. So the idea is that when he grows up, he will be able to differentiate between light and dark, good and bad. Now, let me ask you this. After generations of circumcising babies, have we raised so many beautiful men who know the difference between good and bad? No. So, I don't know about you, but a little fishy to me. Okay. The reason that the ritual also demands for a crowd, by the way, so you have to do it in front of a crowd with all the family, with all the people, and it's a thing. And not just done in a hospital, as many today actually in the modern day choose to do it in a hospital and to numb the baby and to do everything properly. They still do it, but they think it's better because they do it in a hospital, although it's not, it's the same. It's, the baby just doesn't feel any pain, but it's the same. Although I'm sure the baby feels pain after, for sure. So let me repeat that. So the reason that the ritual demands a crowd is that in magic is always, you need a strong intention. And black magic especially loves the energy of emotions from as many people as possible. So that is why many black magic rituals are done in plain sight, by the way, for the whole world to see and to feed off the energy of all that is participating and watching. Like, for example, many Hollywood shows, ceremonies, and even something like the coronation of a king and a ceremony done in the Vatican, things like that. It demands the energy of a lot of people, the life force of a lot of people. In Brit Milah, in circumcision, the excuse is to awaken the light of the child in this ritual, that this is a good thing. But I ask you, how is a ritual? All right, listen to this. How is a ritual when the parents of the child agree to send him to slaughter, by a stranger, that a stranger would cut off a piece of his penis, and in the most sensitive place, and allow a grown man to suck his penis of their baby? Any good? How is this any good? Like, no matter how many excuses they've come up with it during the years and the generations to make it seem like, this is for the best and you have to do it for God, I'm sorry, this is demonic. Okay, Brit Milah is a ritual that combines blood sacrifice and sexual abuse in one ritual. All right, if you notice this, you have the blood sacrifice, you have the cutting of the penis, and then you have literally sexual abuse, which is sucking the penis. While the baby knows his parents do not protect him from this horror. So like, this causes such a deep trauma in the baby and a rip between the family that carries deep in the subconscious for generations to come. Now, I know many people who have done this, and they're amazing people and great parents. This if you've done circumcision for your child, this doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you a programmed person. And I just want to wake you up from this program. People have no idea what they're doing. And as always, they follow blindly, right? But they are feeding the same source, which is demonic in nature. There is no God, there is no light source who's going to demand blood sacrifice from a baby and someone sucking his penis, okay? This is purely demonic. This is what demons ask for in all of their rituals. So, also in this ritual, they usually take the baby's pacifier, or put a little wine in the baby's mouth. So again, they use alcohol, they use spirit, right? And everyone drinks the wine. And have a feast after, which usually again is more blood sacrifice because you have dead animals and they're all eating them. They're slaughtered. And of course, there are spells and songs throughout the rituals, which people call prayers. There are more rules to this ritual, but these are the main ones to know and understand for now, okay? This ritual also, of course, adds to the wound that the masculine already carries for generations. This emasculation of his power, his masculinity, his freedom. When just in the beginning of his life, he's just beginning his life as a baby, he's being offered as a gift to the gods with no protection or say in what happens with his body. It strips him away from his power immediately. It happens with his body, but it's also, of course, affecting his spirit and soul and heart. The penis is the physical symbol of the divine masculine channel of light and connection to source. So you see how there is a snippet of truth, how the penis is connection to source for the man, but they completely distorted it. But by mutilation and pain, this is in fact destroys his connection to source. It doesn't connect him to God more. It destroys his connection to source. It does not strengthen it as the Jewish scholars believe and follow blindly for generations. This black magic began long ago when the dark wizards rose to power. And again, please, when my book, The Last Priestess, comes out soon, please read it, because it will change the face of the world when people know the truth of how the temple fell and the truth about Solomon the king, which was not a real king, and how these dark wizards began their reign of terror for humanity. So again, it is a story, but it's a real story, and it will awaken deep codes within your subconsciousness for truth. A word about the blood of Christ, okay? The blood of Christ, again, we have to look at symbolism. We have to see that all of the religions they all come from magic, and they are magic, and they're usually black magic meant to control the masses and manipulate the masses. Christ is symbol for the heart, all right? It's not a man. It is not Jesus the man. It is a symbol for the heart space. This is where true alchemy comes in, where we actually know how to alchemize the heart space and united with source and united with others. This is true alchemy, and this is where Christ comes in. And so when we have sacrificial rituals that involve blood, especially the blood of a newborn baby, which is at its most pure state, this blood, which has been hijacked by the matriarchy, by the patriarchy in the church, is the original blood. It is the sacred menstrual blood, a blood that is given freely. So this is the difference between living in sacredness, and this is what a sex priestess learns, in initiation, is the difference, understanding the sacrificial blood that is taken by force, and between the blood of life, which is given freely from the body, naturally, every month from a woman's body. It's given freely in order to, and this is why, we have to use our blood correctly. Every drop of my sacred blood is sacred, is important. I don't waste it, and I give it to the mother, and I offer it back to transmuting this darkness that we've created for so long. So just a word on that, because I know it's gonna trigger some stuff for some of you and make you understand things a little bit differently. I know that this is again a triggering topic for a lot, and I hope that you hear this from an open heart and open mind, and try to begin to see reality around you a little differently with new eyes, and ask for clarity. Ask the mother, ask source for clarity and for truth. Don't believe me. Just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, and then ask for your own truth to come. Not your own truth. Ask for the truth to come through you and to be shown to you with clarity. Truth is very clear. When again, I talked about it in my other video about demons and tricksters and things, like if it's not truth, it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be confusing. Truth is very clear. So ask for your own clear discernment in anything in life. And I pray for truth. I pray that the truth will just wash all over us. That's all I want. It's all I live for, to serve the mother for truth. I'm a priestess of the temple. I am a servant of the mother. And I pray for the awakening of men and women on planet Earth, and for sacred unions.